you feeling a little left out? Like you came over and invited yourself over here?
I did. Okay. I was standing over there like, man,
I would really like to be over and chat with them.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Researchers say they're glad you did. They say you should not be afraid to invite yourself into situations that you might not have had a formal invite to.
Yes.
Right?
I'm going to call myself out right now because I do this to Heather almost every weekend.
She does. And it's fine. It is great. And it's like,
but do you mind? Because that's where the research comes in.
We love it. Because I think a lot of times, if you don't get an official invite to something, like if someone's just going out to lunch or whatever, you think, oh, why did they exclude me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? Why did they not invite me to your party?
But there's numbers on this, and research actually shows that often people want you there even though they didn't invite you there.
Yeah. That they're not annoyed, that you think they're annoyed, but they're not necessarily annoyed. That they didn't make the conscious decision, I'm just too much of a scatterbrain to invite Susan Elizabeth to things.
Or they just think you're busy and you're doing something else.
Yes.
So they just don't reach out. Yeah, sometimes I feel like I'm imposing on people's plans a little bit, but like you said, usually when you're there, they're excited to see you.
Absolutely.
Who would want Susan Elizabeth?
Exactly.
Thank you. But it does take a little bit of vulnerability to put yourself out there and say, hey, and especially when like Joseph and I moved here, I mean, you did a long time ago, like from a totally different part of the country.
Right.
And, you know, I mean, there's stereotypes, people saying that Minnesotans don't always ask you to do things as much. I would say that's true in general compared to the South where I'm from. But they're glad to have you there, and you kind of do have to invite yourself. That's been my experience.
But you invite yourself, like you don't do it to everybody.
No, you do have to read the room on this too.
Yeah.
Like there's rules. You wouldn't do this to a wedding.
No,
like,
that's
like
just
that, right?
Too personal.
Yeah.
Too intimate.
Too formal.
Or something intimate. Yeah.
But if you what was the gym class that we went to the other day?
Oh, we went to Yoga Sculpt, like a weighted
so
yoga
if you
class.
want to come to Yoga Sculpt, I'm officially inviting you now, but you could have come to Yoga Sculpt at any time.
I will
we
bring
would
my
have
mat.
loved it.
I'll wrap it up.
Okay.
I'd love
Even
to do
though I
that.
didn't think to ask. Yeah, but that's a great point.
Yeah.
It really is. I think that's freeing.
Is this do you think through all ages and social groups? Do you think if you're younger in high school, it's the same thing? Or is this something
That would be really
more
hard in
open
high
to
school.
is adults?
To invite yourself.
It's funny because I'll look at like my 9-year-old and she probably would have no problem inviting herself.
She's like, I'm here.
Right. And so I wonder if like when you're little, there's no inhibition. You just think, oh yeah, well of course I should be invited to whatever this is that
I think it's
I'm
awkward
doing.
Teenage years where you're like, I
yeah.
don't know if I'm going to
Yes.
sit at that lunch table.
Yes.
You
Right.
get some weird fears.
Yeah.
You gotta
Yes.
shake them off.
Yeah. And
I
then
like
maybe
it.
by the time you're an adult, you're like, okay, whatever. Like all that stuff doesn't even matter.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so invite yourself, friends.
Yeah,
I want to
go
hear
ahead.
about it too.
We want you to join the conversation. So leave a comment below. We want to hear what you think.
Apparently gossip is good for couples.
Yeah, new research shows couples who gossip together report a higher level of overall happiness.
Before we get into this, do you two gossip?
Yeah. So do you.
Ask my priest in confession. It's like my number one thing that I'm always in there like, here we are, Father.
We all
Sorry,
gossip.
Yes.
We all gossip, don't we?
And Katie, I don't know that like gossip has to be bad.
No.
It doesn't mean like if
Well,
you're
I mean,
talking
there's
about
a difference between talking about, talking to my husband about how my day went with these two crazy people.
Right.
And,
That's
like,
gossip. Did
he's
you?
always asking, like, did you talk about anything fun? Like, what did
Yeah.
you talk about? Like, how are Heather and AJ doing? And when I talk about that, like, that's technically, I guess, gossip, but that's not bad. But I think gossip when it's negative is tearing somebody down, like telling somebody something that puts this other person in a negative light.
Yeah.
And sometimes that feels good for us, right? Like it does. And like when you're talking to your husband about that and you're doing, and like it brings you together and it feels good, but it's temporary, I've always found.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, so I disagree with this study wholeheartedly because yes, it might bring you together right now, but then what happens when you are gossiping about your spouse to someone
well, yeah,
else?
that's a different
that's different
story.
altogether,
That's a different
yeah.
story. But
If you're gossiping together, you're also then probably going to gossip apart, and that will tear you apart.
yeah.
I
Good
think.
point.
Okay, but what about this? What about the idea that gossip means you can trust that person?
But if you're I think it's like cheating. If you're gossiping together.
Yes,
right? Like
you trust that they're going to not go around and tell everybody, oh, look what she's saying. And so, like,
see, that's
how I took this.
Right, like this is my person. This is the person that I can trust.
Yeah, I can confide in.
This person is not going to go and say X, Y, Z about because we have that level of trust until they, they do.
Katie, what is this negativity?
I mean, if your relationship is based on a negative form of gossip, and that's what you do a lot to feel good and like to bring yourself together, if that's what your relationship is based on, it's going to, when things get rough, you're going to be gossiping to your mom or your good friends about that person.
Well, then maybe you need a stronger relationship,
I would agree, but if that's going to be what brings you together, that is not a strong foundation. That's my point, I think.
Okay.
She just flipped that on its head, didn't she? You were ready for that, were you?
Interesting. Yeah. Okay, when you explain it like that, makes more sense. But gossip, I still also doesn't always have to be negative. Doesn't always have to tear somebody down.
Well, it could be
like we could be talking about, one of our coworkers and like, oh my gosh, look at their amazing vacation photos. Aren't you so jealous? Like, I wonder, if they're having what they're eating. Like, those, like you're still gossiping about them,
and they're not there, but it's not in a negative connotation.
Yeah, you're not trying to, or it doesn't tear them down. I think that gossip that is detrimental to a relationship is the one where, and it's not like you're doing it, at least when I do it, it's not like I'm doing it on purpose, right? But then you like reflect on your day and your conversation, you're like, ooh, that one was that one I'm gonna have to add to the list. Like, that one's going to convention.
Let's settle this. Who do you agree with? Let us know in the comments. So do you like your neighbors? Or maybe a better question is, do they like you?
Yeah, that's probably the better question, right? There's a new survey conducted by Pew Research Center. It shows how much people trust those living around them. Out of nearly 9,500 respondents, 44% said they trust most of all their neighbors. This is a decline from previous years, though. Survey also found correlations between answers and demographic similarities. When asked if they themselves are good, trustworthy neighbors, most responded, yes, they are.
There's a little bit of a disconnect. Everybody thinks they're trustworthy, but they only think 44% of their neighbors are trustworthy.
What makes a good neighbor?
If you ask me, I believe it is the number of volleyballs, wiffle balls, and hockey pucks that you send into your neighbor's yard. What makes the good neighbor is if they don't get mad and then let your children climb over the fence to go get the balls back. And I have wonderful neighbors, so thank you.
I was going to say, it sounds like you're speaking from experience here.
Maybe.
Anyone who volunteers to be the neighborhood watch in your neighborhood, proactively, that's a good neighbor.
Oh, yeah.
Even though sometimes, let's be real though, it can be a little overboard too sometimes. I don't even know everything going on. But those are great people who look out for the neighborhood.
Those are great people to know.
Good people to know.
They tell you everything.
They do tell you everything. Some nosy people. I've always appreciated when someone will like mow your lawn when you're on vacation, take care of your dog for you, leave you a case of beer, cook you a meal,
Oh, Joseph just moving into a new home, giving out some vibes here.
Yeah, those type of things.
Maybe snow plowing your sidewalk.
That's a big one. That's a big one. Yeah, you come home from vacation and you
just doing it too, which is really nice. So
people going above and beyond. That's always
nice. You like your neighbors?
I like my neighbors. My neighbors are good. I got some new neighbors on one side. Welcome to the neighborhood.
Welcome to the neighborhood.
Just moved from Oklahoma.
Cookies?
I made him some cookies. You know what? I should make him some cornbread.
That's cool.
I should make him some cornbread.
That's cool.
You got that coming now.
Then they're going to be like your BFFs for life if you make them cornbread.
You're going to have like lawn chairs in your garage. Hanging out.
Whoa! Let's put the brakes down.
Or they'll just snowplow your sidewalk.
Hey, we hope you enjoyed WCCO's Talk of the Table.
Be sure to leave a comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.